Hi, this is Pastor Ronald Cody with Glorified Truth Productions, coming at you with another session of questions and answers. And this time the questions come from you, the international YouTube community. So thanks so much to those of you that submitted a question. I am going to be fielding sincere questions from genuine spiritual seekers. I am not here to enter a petty squabble or allow people to take theological digs at me. To illustrate, let's use this following question as an example. Reverend Cody, I am confused about the Bible. No, you're not. How should I decide which passages should be followed and which ones I should ignore? I have a black Muslim living next door. Would it be okay to murder him and take his wife and children as slaves? Will not be answering that question. Now, some of the questions I will be answering were somewhat lengthy, so I'm just answering the essence of them. I am including a link in the sidebar to a website that will have the entire text of every question that I'm answering, and I do intend to stick to the YouTube 10-minute time limit, so if we go over that, expect a part 2. Alright, with that being said, let's get going. Can God only act in the most good way possible, or can God do anything and that becomes the most good because it is God who did it? Yeah, you're correctly apprehending this. God is the standard of good and evil. Therefore, when God does something, it is by definition a good thing. I would also add that it's not our place to question God's standards, but rather to uphold them. And here's a related question. Did God have morally sufficient reasons for mandating genocide as seen in examples like Deuteronomy 20, 10 through 18? God created the heavens and the earth. That's a pretty big scale achievement. So I think I trust God when he does something on a smaller scale than that, because I think he's proven that he knows what he's doing. So the answer to the question is yes, of course he had justification, or else he wouldn't have done it. Do you hate your father, mother, brothers, sisters, yea, even your own life? Is it because of these words of Christ that you tell your son of God's actions and then tell your son that God is good, so that he can hate you and therefore have a chance at being saved? Friend, let me see if I've got this right. If anyone comes to me and he does not hate his father and his mother, his wife and his children, his brothers and his sisters, yea, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. I think what you're really getting at is the fact that I have a son who had a little brother and sister who died before he was born and went to hell, and I let him know as much. Therefore, am I trying to make my son hate me so that he can be saved? He'll hate his father, and that way he can be a disciple of Jesus. Wow, what a thoughtful question. Let me think. You know, here was my alternative. To tell my son to hide his head in the sand and ignore the truth and go through life with blinders on. I don't think that's the recipe to being a good Christian. The truth, in order to be commanded, must first be obeyed. Our next question comes from someone who identifies himself as a new Christian who has questions about an omniscient or all-knowing God. God, after creating the first humans, Adam and Eve, told them not to eat the fruit of a certain tree. But they did eat the fruit, and that's why many people now have to go to hell. So my question is, if God knows everything, including everything that's going to happen, why did he give Adam an instruction that he knew Adam was going to disobey? I suggest you read the parable of the sower, starting in Luke chapter 8, verse 4, because you remind me of where the seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew with the seed and choked it. And in your case, friend, the thorns are doubt. Doubt is growing in your heart like an infection. It's festering and it's choking your faith. Think about what you're saying, Mr. Christian. Yeah, God didn't know what he was doing. Oh, he totally blew it with Adam and Eve. What a dope. That's a great attitude for a Christian. You know, I hope you're not taking that faith on the road and exhibiting it in public, because that's a terrible witness for your faith. Something else I find amusing about this question is that Adam and Eve completely blew it for the rest of humankind. But somehow people are finding a way to put the blame on God. A perfect and all-knowing God. Oh yeah, he must be the one at fault, not Adam and Eve, who lived in the nicest place ever created in the universe and had everything they'd ever need and were given one rule. One rule to obey. Please, you can do anything you want, but please don't eat that fruit from the tree. That's all I'm asking. That's all they had to do. Doesn't sound too hard to me. But no! They couldn't even do that much. Hey, I've got an idea. Let's go to that tree and eat the fruit, because I can't think of anything better to do. Ugh. Yeah, you know what? That kind of sounds like God's fault to me too. Another possibility you might want to consider is that even though God is all-knowing, he may have elected to exercise the option not to know. That's right, he might have chosen not to know what was going to happen. Hey, great question. Hope that helps. Can you show us your true reptilian form in front of camera? I don't think that's a serious theological question, but I'll give you points. It is amusing. Uh-oh, looks like we're running out of time. Please check my homepage for part 2, where we'll continue. Thank you very much for watching.